Ullmark got the start tonight. He finished with 30 saves in the loss. The series now moves to Toronto, even at 1. We expect Jeremy Swayman to be in net with the rotation. One other game in the NHL, the Islanders up 3-2 over Carolina. In the NBA playoffs, Cavs all over the Magic, 96-86. New York Knicks have a 103-101 lead right now over the 76ers. 6 seconds to go in that one. Later on tonight, Lakers and Denver Nuggets will meet in that one. Some NFL news today. Patriots, they're open to trading the number 3 overall pick. They've also signed tight end Mitchell Wilcox, who played with the Bengals. Also, the Chiefs have signed an extension with head coach Andy Reid, while the Jets have traded Zach Wilson to Denver along with a 7th-round pick in exchange for a 6th-round pick. And the Red Sox off tonight. They travel to Cleveland tomorrow. Headlines are brought to you by Safety Insurance, providing comprehensive coverage for your auto, home, and business. Ask your independent agent about safety. I'm Joe Murray. Your next update, 30 minutes.
Marchand back of the net. Shoots, he scores!
This is Brad
Marchand.
Every Bruins game on 98.5, the Sports Hub.
McAvoy over the line, high slot, fires, and this one is blocked. He got tripped up as Edmondson chopped him down, and this game has gone final. Austin Matthews with a game winner and 2 assists. And the Boston Bruins and Toronto Maple Leafs are tied up at 1 as this series is going to head north of the border for Game 3 on Wednesday night. Your final, Maple Leafs 3 and the Bruins 2.
790-98.5. You can chat in as well on YouTube. Just go to the 98.5, the Sports Hub page. So the Bees lose tonight. People are going to bring up the goaltending. That's not even where I'm going to start. No way can you start there. I think I would look at 2 players tonight. And it's weird because they started out so hot, these 2 players. Very physical. And then it seemed to go against them maybe late in the second period and then the whole third period. The final 40 minutes were not pretty tonight for the Bruins, who fall to Toronto 3-2. The Maple Leafs with a come-from-behind win tonight. Bees had this thing all night. They had control. They had shots on net. It was the mistakes. It was not the goaltending at all tonight. It was not the goaltending. It wasn't. It was everything that happened in front of the goalie. And I'm not sure how much Jeremy Swayman could have fixed some of the mistakes that they made up front tonight. But the 2 players I look at, Brad Marchand and Charlie McAvoy. Early on, there was hits everywhere, right? Pastrnak was hitting guys. Marchand had one. McAvoy had a big one. And somewhere late in that second period, the physicality was different. It changed. The mistakes happened on the breakaway with Charlie McAvoy to Austin Matthews. You have no shot. In a tie game, you make a mistake like that. That's why you lost 3-2 tonight. So we'll line up the phones for you at 617-779-0985. But I start with the... I don't know if it was like they came out so physical. Did they start to fade? Did Toronto kind of set them up and they made the same mistakes in game 1 that the Bruins are making tonight? Bees still had a chance to win this thing, but the mistakes cost him. It wasn't the goaltender. You got a goal from David Pastrnak tonight, who wasn't great defensively either. And everyone will talk about the goaltending, not the story tonight. But you can make it a story if you want, and we're here till midnight at 617-779-0985. Bees and Leafs series tied at 1 and now shifts to Toronto on Wednesday night. And you saw the stars out tonight. Austin Matthews, Tavares, Pastrnak, all on display. And I thought Samsonov was very good tonight. Was very good. And Ullmark, for that matter, had 30 saves. We'll get your instant reaction to the Bruins loss tonight and your thoughts on the Bees and their chances in the series. Now tied at 1. We'll take a quick break. We'll line them up. Skaz is here as well, and we're on until midnight tonight at 617-779-0985. I'm Joe Murray. We'll talk to you guys right after the break.
More Joe Murray coming up on the Sports Hub.
right, back here at 98.5 The Sports Hub. We're back on clock. You guys are coming home from the game. We'll get your instant reaction. Skaz is here. I'm Joe Murray. Just to lead it off, there's two people I really just circled tonight as they got to be better than that. And to me, it's Brad Marchand and it's Charlie McAvoy. It's just the turnovers hurt. Some of the defensive pressure that they saw tonight, little things. It all happened in front of Allmark. I don't think it was Allmark's fault tonight. Thought he played a really good game and kept them in the game tonight. But for the most part, though, the mistakes, you can't turn the puck over for a breakaway with Austin Matthews on the ice. You just can't do it. That was the difference tonight. Toronto had 2 goals taken away. They eventually scored to tie it. I thought late in the second period and then the entire third period, the Bruins, something was different. Plenty of penalties tonight, careless turnovers, too many men on the ice, terrible power play possessions. I mean, the Leafs came from behind, got the game-winning goal here, or the go-ahead goal. Series tied at 1, going back to Toronto now. And the story will be Jim Montgomery electing to go with Linus Ullmark to keep the goalie rotation intact after Jeremy Swayman's Game 1 performance. I don't think he played well. It wasn't a disaster by any means. Ullmark was good, had some really good saves in this one, memorable saves. Maybe it wasn't the way that Swayman played the other night, but I'm not blaming him for the result. He had 30 saves. He kept them in it. It was all the mistakes in front of Ullmark tonight is the reason why they lost. They surrendered a power play goal late in the second period, right? That kept the Leafs in the game, and then Austin Matthews behind the defense in the third period. Like, you can't put the NHL's leading scorer in that position. So with 30 saves tonight, you can't pin the loss on Ullmark. I don't think Swayman could have prevented what happened tonight in the mistakes they made. Now, if you want to point out to me, hey, Joe, Linus Ullmark, 3-6 in his postseason career with the Bees. All right. Jim Montgomery asked after the game, no second guesses. He thought Ullmark was terrific tonight. I thought he was good too. The Stars were out. David Pastrnak, his first playoff goal of the year. Great assist by Pavel Zacha. What was that? About 7.8 seconds left in the first period. Bees go up 2-1, so they have the momentum. Fell apart. McAvoy, Marchand. Those are the two guys I look at if you want to put some blame out there. All right, let's hear from you guys at 617-779-0985. Let's start it off with Sean in Braintree. Hey, Sean.
For having me this evening. First of all, this did not come to down to goaltending tonight. My question is this. With 45 seconds left, why do we have the gorilla out there with cement boots and a piano on his back on the power play? And Pat Maroon, why the heck is he on the power play with the game on the line? Can you help me with that?
Well, that's one I think we should probably talk about, but I agree with you. I don't know if they would I'm trying to give you an answer, and maybe I did think that Toronto was a little bit more physical late in the game, right? I mean, you saw a couple of cheap shots there by Bertuzzi at one point. So maybe that's why they wanted them out there. But, yes, I agree with you. You need scoring. You need scoring.
Right. This isn't Braintree High versus Quincy High, and let's put the football player in front of the net.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
This is serious business. And we look down the bench, and Pat Maroon's the answer on the power play? Come on, we're better than that.
Sean,
we got to be better than that.
The only answer I have for you is that, and I agree with you. You got to score goals late. Multiple opportunities to score two, and they didn't. Samsonov was good. Samsonov, whatever his name is. I'm going to go with Samsonov because that's what Judd was calling him all night. That's one you can question, and maybe there'll be some changes in Game 3. Let's talk to Butch on the Cape. Butch.
Joe, how we doing?
How you doing?
Good. Listen, just coming home from the game, it's Hampus Lindholm. He is a nightmare, buddy. He is not where he belongs. He plays with no effort, no spark. He doesn't have any drive at all. I don't want to be one of those guys who are always calling, a European soft, but he is just absolutely 100% soft. That's my first point. Number two, I'm going to agree with you about the goalie issue. Listen, Monty was screwed either way. If he didn't go with Allmark, and he took the loss, then he should have gone with Allmark. If Allmark had won, he would have been a genius. So there's no right or wrong there. Third, I'm going to have to agree with your last caller. Listen, big Pat Maroon fan. He does not belong on the power play. I belong in the power play more than Pat Maroon.
I don't disagree. I'm just trying to give you. I don't know why, so I'm trying to give you the body late in the game. That's all I got for you. I don't know why, so I agree with you.
Listen, I mean, I know Pat's a little bit heavier than Charlie Coyle, but Charlie Coyle's got the hands and he's got the size. So I would have Coyle out there in front of the net before I'd have Pat Maroon. And lastly, let me just leave you with this: there are guys who play hockey. And there are hockey players. Todd Bertuzzi is a hockey player. He is full speed every minute of every shift. He doesn't know what the score is. He doesn't know how many minutes are left on the clock. It's go, go, go from the time the puck hits the ice until the final buzzer, dude.
Plays with his hair on fire, Tyler. Yes, thanks, Butch. I did not appreciate the old, we call it a slew foot? What was that on Brad Marchand? Not cool. And then somehow Coyle went to the bench for that. As far as Lindholm goes, there were some things in game one. I'll agree with you. Tonight, he did have two. It says here 2 giveaways, 34 shifts, 24 minutes of ice time tonight. I don't know, McAvoy kind of, at least McAvoy stood out to me. And I'm not saying Lindholm's been great. 3 block shots tonight, 24 minutes. Maybe I got to watch more of that one, but it was McAvoy who stood out to me a little bit more. Sam's in the car. Hey, Sam.
Hey, Joe. Great show, buddy. But I want to know where McAvoy was on that last power play. He wasn't even out on the ice.
Yeah, if you remember at the end of the year, they benched him on one of the power plays too, and maybe it was after the turnover. I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe somebody down there can ask him. I'll find out for you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sam. If we see anything on that, Skaz, that's the only thing I can think of. Was there an injury? Was it with a turnover earlier? Was it what happened at the end of the regular season where he got benched? I don't know. Hopefully somebody's got an answer for that one. I don't. Paul, leaving the game. Hey, Paul. Hey, Paul.
Hey, Joe.
How you doing?
How are you, pal? Good, thanks. Hey, listen, no problem with the goaltending tonight. Good decision. I'm against you on the defense. I thought Grzelcyk was horrible tonight.
He was another that somewhat stood out to me. I marked down a play earlier where, he had one bad play tonight that I thought of. Was that on the? I'm trying to think of what it was. Not Tavares. There was one of the goals that I thought he kind of struggled on. Tavares' goal. There you go.
It was a Tavares goal. He couldn't move anyone in front of the net. They would just push him right out of the way. Horrible play. I tell you, defensively, and I didn't think McAvoy played that bad, to be honest with you. But defensively, they just didn't look good tonight.
That turnover, though, who do you blame?
He went to clear the puck. I guess you could blame it on him, but
McAvoy.
You know, they had their chances tonight. They just didn't take advantage of it.
How is a defenseman? Are you like, I'm just going to casually go? How do you let Matthews behind you? Like, that's inexcusable.
His first step went right by him like he was standing still.
Like he was like the candle left the wind. Blew right by him. Man, it's defense. I know Peak had an injury. I don't think we got an update on that yet. Everyone is all over Lindholm tonight. I'm criticizing McAvoy, but more because captain, defense, turnover, had big hits early on. I don't know what shifted later in the game. And yes, he was not on the power play late. Skaz, I know you worked the game. I thought Toronto consistently made terrible mistakes tonight to keep the Bruins in the game. As bad as I'm crushing the Bruins, there were times where Toronto was absolutely terrible tonight too.
Yeah, I was honestly impressed with Toronto's stupidity at times for a team that was down 1-0 in the series. They didn't play like it. They were reckless, and I guess I don't know if I want to say it paid off, but they got the win. So yeah, I mean, if you're a Bruins fan, this is a super frustrating game. I don't think the Bruins played well at all, really. And on peak, there was no update post game, but I did see a couple people speculating during the game. He took a shot in the hand from Tyler Bertuzzi and didn't return from that moment.
Interesting. I'm reading here. It might be Capello, Bruins Network. I know. I know we got a couple of guys here. McAvoy was seen struggling late in the game, standing. Marchand's had some interesting pucks kind of go over his stick this season. I'm wondering now if McAvoy wasn't out there for an injury or something. I'm speculating here. There's got to be a reason why he was out there. He wasn't out there, excuse me. 617-779-0985. Let's get the Skip in Weymouth. You might have to pot him up for me, Skaz. We got Skip in Weymouth joining us here on 98.5 The Sports of A. Skip.
Hey, Joe. How you doing tonight?
Good, man.
Good. I want to echo the last caller that Grzelcyk is just so far over his head. Every shot from the point never makes it to the net. He can't clear the puck. He's just so far over his head that I just have zero confidence in him. But
yeah, I think he didn't. And I'm looking at his minutes right now. I'm sorry to cut you off. Did he really play much in the third? Grzelcyk had 18 minutes tonight, and then that Tavares goal, as we mentioned.
Yeah, well, they were down to 5 defensemen. They had him. But the real thing here, thank you so much for bringing up Marchand. He's had 3 goals in his last 27 games, 4 in his last 33. That's almost half a season. This guy is just skating out there. He's not snake bit. He's dead from venom.
Oh. Yeah, I will say this about Brad Marchand. Tonight, probably not one of his better games. I thought he looked pretty good in game 1. There are times where, again, the puck just somehow goes around his stick, off his stick, redirects off him. He takes a bad angle. But as great as they kind of started out tonight, the way that they finished, him being the captain, part of some of the turnovers, he's a guy that you got to talk about after the game. They need more from him. I'd love to say they need more from Pastrnak, too, and he has been a point-a-game guy. He gave him a goal tonight, but he was physical early on. I think a lot of the guys disappeared late in the game. Whether it was Marchand, Pastrnak, McAvoy, Grzelcyk was even on the ice. And as you mentioned, I thought Peak played pretty well and then disappeared. And they were down 5 defensemen. Or down to 5. I just think Toronto kept the pressure on tonight. The forechecking, right? That's what kind of accounted to a lot of these, pucks being tipped all night long. It's kind of like they tipped the puck instead of corral it. I don't know how to explain that. But a lot of that was going out tonight, kind of like kicking it out. It's annoying. It's annoying. I see you guys lined up on the phone lines. Oh, Xana, dude, what you got, bro?
I am getting tired of screaming at this team. What are you doing? Like, you can actually feel the crowd in that garden just, start talking about anything but hockey because we're just so frustrated. But I've got to give why I have hope in this series because it took the Bruins for a half a game aiming the gun straight at their foot for Toronto to win by 1, and everything you've talked about is stuff that can be fixed. Marchand can play better. McAvoy can play better. They're going to look at the game film, and these are all things that they can work with. So I see the Bruins righting the ship and getting out of there. And I just saw Game 5. Do not want to scream at them. What are you doing? Because they're going to play better. They just have to.
No, okay, Xana, dude. You keep the faith while everyone else is not. People are upset tonight. We'll continue to take your calls. I'll see you guys line up on the phone. We're here till midnight. We can talk about this. We just got to do a quick headline, take a quick break, and we'll get back to your calls coming up next here on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Sports Hub headlines.
Bruins lose 3-2 tonight at home to Toronto. Austin Matthews, the difference. Go-ahead goal, also had 2 assists in the win tonight. David Pastrnak lit the to Toronto. So Austin Matthews scored the game winner tonight, and Samsonov had 27 saves. I thought he was good tonight. The Leafs again were without William Nylander, and still an undisclosed injury. I'm sure he'll probably come back for the next game. But the Leafs finally got the better of the Boston Bruins for the first time in 9 games? This is the first time they've knocked off the Bees. So I am kind of curious how the Bruins will bounce back from this. But on the other hand, does anybody actually think the Bees won't win this series? Did tonight's game change your thoughts on that? I still think. Oh, it did, Scott. Oh, I thought you were saying yes to me tonight.
No, I was shit because I knew where you were going.
Yeah, you're agreeing with me.
Yes.
Does today's game change your feelings on the series? No.
No, Toronto wasn't unbelievable tonight. They had a ton of dumb penalties, didn't play that great, but they just capitalized, and you didn't.
I will say this: it is the Bruins, and you should be scared.
I will also say that on Matthews, because you mentioned him, Bob said it in the post game. Maybe the best game I've seen him play. He was good defensively. He was everywhere. He was disciplined. So that's a scary sight if you're a Bruins fan.
Was very passing the puck early and then had the breakaway. Here's where things were a little disappointing for the Bruins tonight. They got a power play with 6 minutes left in the clock, and they could not threaten at all. A couple of scrambles in front of the net there, but just looking at it tonight, just the Bees had turnovers all night long. Too many penalties, too many men on the ice. And, yeah, things got a little physical there. Tyler Bertuzzi, as we mentioned, was pretty strong. I thought he tied the game. They called the goal back. That was a high stick. But, the more I look at it here, the goalie shuffle I don't think had an impact on it. There are some people asking the question, though, who are the Maple Leafs anticipating tonight? I guess it's worth bringing that up. I'll just tell you, I don't think that the goaltender is the reason why the Bruins lost tonight. So we'll get your instant reaction here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. We'll start things off with Kevin, who's in Woburn. What's up, Kevin? You're on The Sports Hub.
Hey, Joe. Thanks for taking my call. You just touched on what I think is the main reason they lost tonight. Too stupid, too many men in the ice penalties. One of them killed a power play towards the end in the third period. I mean, Pee Wee hockey coaches do a better job of managing the bench. In the Stanley Cup playoffs, to have a team like the Bruins have too many men in the ice penalties. A stupid cross-check penalty by Grzelcyk that cost them a goal. Actually cost them 2 goals. One was a high stick, so they called it back. But
True.
You're never going to win hockey games when you're making stupid plays like that. And as far as Matthews goes, the guy's a 70-goal scorer. They got to put somebody on him. They got to shadow him like they used to do in the old days. Maybe Charlie Coyle or, somebody that's got some size and strength that can stay with him and skate with him. But
I thought McAvoy was at least, kept an eye on him and then just left the zone. And it was a turnover.
Yeah, no, McAvoy blew that one, but you can't have a defenseman shadow a forward. It's got to be a forward that just follows him wherever he goes.
I hear what you're saying there, but McAvoy's got to be better than that.
Yeah. And the other thing is, Toronto's got more talent. The only thing we have is goaltending. That's the only reason I think we beat them during the regular season. I mean, we played great the other night, but all in all, player by player, Toronto's got a much more talented squad.
Careful what you wish for, everybody. I still think the Bees win this series. Now, it shifts. What kind of shift are we going to see now? Again, Toronto has not beat the Bruins in 9 games. They did it tonight. Could that be now the stepping stone to turning the series around? And hypothetically, if Jeremy Swayman's in net and you lose, now what do you do with the goaltending rotation? Oh, that goaltending rotation, which again, I don't think had anything to do with it, But if they lose the series, oh, yes, we will discuss it. Phil in Waltham. Hey, Phil.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, man.
A couple comments here. Heinen, right? Heinen and Maroon are two of the players that I think should not be on the ice the way they are. They have Heinen playing with Zaka and Pasta. He has no business being out with that line. He's ineffective. He was on that power play towards the end of the game with the 6 minutes left, both him and Maroon. Maroon just getting over his injury. Doesn't look like he belongs on the ice with the rest of the team. Those are my observations. You know, I'd look for Boquist to be up on the first line and put Heinen down on the fourth line, switch those two.
Yeah, Boquist got five seconds of power play time. So this is probably something to look at. The power play for the Bees tonight. If you look at the time on ice, well, you got your Marchand. Maroon got over a minute. Zaka got a minute. Pastrnak was 155. Heinen, to his point, I thought Heinen had a shot late in the game there to put one in. So I'm not too upset about him being there. The Maroon, though, over a minute on the power play. That one's questionable there. Cooper in Revere. What's up, Cooper?
How we doing?
How you doing?
I'm doing all right. I just wanted to say the power play tonight. I was at the game, paid $150 to watch this game, and I personally think my high school hockey team could have done a better job on that power play tonight in the third period. That was ugly to watch.
Where do you play?
That was ugly to watch. I play Arlington.
Oh, well, you guys, yeah, maybe. The power play was bad tonight. I don't know if the Arlington high school team was better, but it was. Yes, I would like some questions here. I'm going to look it up during our next break. What was going on at the end of the game? Here you are trying to tie the game. There's some bodies out there that you're questioning. And maybe it wasn't injury. The McAvoy thing not being on the ice is interesting to me. And if Maroon's out there who's not, it's probably something. I'll try to get an answer on that before we go home tonight. Shane in the car. Hey, Shane.
Hey, guys. Grizzly is just absolutely brutal out there. I think it's time that Jim Montgomery puts Mason Lowry in there. I think defense and goaltending really is the key factor with this team. And just, it's
everyone's overreacting, I feel like. I mean, we want your overreaction. Certainly, it's great for radio. I got a thought. We'll take a quick break. I see you guys lined up on the phone, 617-779-0985. There was another great comeback tonight in the NHL. Also, I'll get you caught up in some NBA stuff as well. Does anybody think that Toronto is still going to win this series after tonight? This was a winnable game for the Bees. They weren't outplayed. If you ask me, they beat themselves, and they left themselves open to basically be attacked by one of the best players in the league on a turnover that no goalie can stop. This was a winnable game. But if you feel like Toronto now has all the momentum and the series is over, I'll hear from you. Until midnight tonight, I'm Joe Murray, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
You're listening to Joe Murray.
quick. Smelly.
It's Joe Murray on the Sports Hub.
Till midnight. I know a lot of people want to get on, and I know Nick has been holding in Saugus. What's going on, Nick?
I think the problem is with the Bruins, it's not an overreaction. We're still going to win the series. It's not a big deal. The goaltending wasn't the issue. I think the problem is Matt Grzelcyk isn't built for this type of hockey. Derek Forbort, as much as he's a liability, is a better player. Also, what shot us in the foot today, being at the game, Bruins played a hell of a lot better when they hit. The Bruins didn't hit this game. They let Toronto out-hit them. They let Toronto outplay them. They let Toronto walk all over them, and the Bruins paid for it. Every single time, they got walked all over.
Okay. And how was the crowd tonight?
Crowd was good. The crowd tried to pump up their team. They just didn't play. I mean, everybody's saying Maroon isn't the best. Like, I don't think we should break up the lines. I think Grzelcyk needs to sit. I think Forbort needs to go in. And, I think Hampus Lindholm had a good game. I don't think – the problem is, the dumb penalties. We had too many men on the ice, a dumb cross-check, and it shot the Bruins in the foot.
All right, thanks, Nick. Wanted to bring that one up regarding Morgan Geekie on the too many men penalty. He said he was trying to get off, but Reeves was holding his stick. Said he was doing his job. It is what it is. I'm not going to comment on it too much. So he was trying to get off the ice, but Toronto was holding the stick. That's something I think Toronto kind of set the tone on. I mentioned this. The Bees came out firing. McAvoy, Marchand, Pasternak had big hits. They came out firing. They scored 2 goals in the first period. Yep, they scored, gave up the quickie, but went back at it. 2-1. We're leading. Things were looking good. Something changed. I don't know if it was the goals that were called back. Maybe it was the terrible turnover on Grzelcyk there. Something changed mid-second period. They played poorly in the third. Turnovers. Being down a defenseman, I'm starting to wonder if that's why McAvoy wasn't in late in the game. He was gassed. Nobody wants to hear that. But maybe that's the reason. The Forbort experiment, he's back now, right? Well, he's going to make the trip, they said. I wonder if they make that move. This isn't the first time for Grzelcyk in a playoff. Let's just be honest. I'm starting to wonder if he's made for these the long playoff run. He's been somewhat of a target at times. Today it worked for Toronto. 617-779-0985. I just wanted to get back into the goaltending situation and Linus Ullmark's night. We'll take a quick look at the headlines here, get you scores in the NBA as well, and get you the scores. Of course, there's an upset tonight. Well, a comeback from behind win, I should say, in the NHL as well. I'm Joe Murray here on the Sports Hub.
WBC-FM HD1 bus from the Town Fair Tire Studio, the home of the Bruins, Patriots, Revs, and Celtics.
On Maxi step back three is good.
Boston's home for sports is 88.5, the Sports Hub, the Beasley Media Group station. Sports Hub headlines.
Bruins fall 3-2 tonight at the Garden. Leafs have now evened the series at 1. Austin Matthews, a goal, the go-ahead goal, and 2 assists in the win tonight. Linus Ullmark, 30 saves in the loss. The series now shifts over to Toronto on Wednesday night, even at 1. The Carolina Panthers had a comeback win tonight. Carolina Hurricanes got a 5-3 win tonight. That's not the first time. 5-3 winners. Islanders were up 3-0. Hurricanes came all the way back. They now lead that series 2-0. I wonder if the Islanders are done. In the NBA tonight, Cavs over the Magic. They're up 2-0 in the series. New York Knicks 104-101 over the 76ers, up 2-0. And right now, the Lakers up 47-39. They've lost 9 in a row to Denver. And in NFL news, the Chiefs have signed a contract extension with head coach Andy Reid. Zach Wilson's leaving the Jets. He's going to the Denver Broncos in exchange for a 6th-round pick. Headlines are brought to you by Safety Insurance, providing comprehensive coverage for your auto, home, and business. Ask your independent agent about safety. I'm Joe Murray. Your next update is in 30 minutes.
to go to 3 minutes. Jalen jumps the pass.
Every game
Up top, Pastrnak. Here it comes.
is one step closer to the goal.
The steal. Flies over Grayson.
This is the home of the Bruins and the Celtics and their road to the playoffs. Boston's home for sports. 98.5, the Sports Hub.
High slot now, Liljegren. Near circle to Domi. Stick handles and looks. Up top it comes. Liljegren shoots. It never got to Ullmark out in front. Ullmark the stop on Nyes.
Yeah, that one got to Ullmark, the Nyes chance.
And then the puck. The Bruins are unable to exit it. Out in front, Yarncroke shoots. Ullmark, what a stop at the near post. He got it with the glove. How did he keep that out of there?
All right, final hour here on 98.5 The Sports. I'm going till midnight tonight. If you want to react to the Bruins' loss, 3-2 to the Maple Leafs. We're here, 617-779-0985. That was the save of the night, if you ask me. Linus Ullmark was really good. Goaltending, not the issue tonight. Ullmark with 30 saves in his first start of the series. And he did speak after the loss tonight. There might be some criticism about how well Swayman played to Ullmark tonight. It wasn't as good, but it's not the reason why they lost. Just not. Penalties, miscues, bad power plays, too many men on the ice, etc. Turnovers. But there was a message tonight from Linus Ullmark after the game. We spoke to the media. And I don't know how many people will love this. But the goaltender had one message after the game tonight. It said, the sun will come up tomorrow. And I don't know if many Bruins fans want to hear that, but maybe that's what I was saying a little while ago as I'm not saying this series. I still think the Bruins win this series. But Toronto did come back from a 2-1 deficit. And now they split the series at 1 apiece. Bruins were slowed down on transition. Missed opportunities to extend their lead, lacked some of the same urgency they had in the 5-1 win the other night. It's probably a good word to use as urgency. Something changed midway through. Ullmark went on to say it's a long series, and now it's all about recharging. We're going to Toronto, then duke it out once again. Ullmark's positivity has been a trademark of his mental makeup all season long. Of course, a man that was going to be traded at one point. But never gets too high, never gets too low. I'm reading here from the hockey news, some of the quotes here. They're a good hockey team. We're a good hockey team. That was from Jim Montgomery after the game. It's the playoffs. They improved from game 1 to game 2. We didn't improve enough. I agree with that, but they're without Nylander. You're at home. You have the better goaltending. You have the advantage. You have owned them for 9 straight games. You blew it tonight. You had all the advantage. And if it's Swayman in game 3, fine. But going up 2-0 with Swayman in net when you've won 10 in a row against an opponent, advantage Bees. Now you woke up the Bees nest. You go on the road, which it won't be easier. You may be down and playing new defensemen now. Like, we don't have an update on Peak right now, and Grizzly kind of leave the game. Well, he wasn't playing well. So now what do you do? Forward? Is that what you do? Toronto responded quick tonight, and that's something I wanted to give them credit for. Max Domi had that rebound off the Austin Matthews shot, 14 seconds after the Bees scored. And even Pavel Zacha said after the game tonight, in the neutral zone, they need to be better and play smarter. I agree with that. That's where the turnovers happen. So Grizzly sent to the box for that interference. And then Tyler Bertuzzi scored that power play goal, was called back. Tavares came back with the man advantage later and put the puck past Ullmark, made it 2-2. And Pastrnak had a quote after the game. I don't think we played anywhere near as good as we can. It's not saying that after a loss. He's saying that they have some work to do, get some sleep tonight, back at it on tomorrow. I like that mindset. I think this is still a winnable series for the Bees. And again, they played with 5 defensemen half the game, Andre Peak headed to the room. 7 minutes to play in the second period, didn't return, and no update yet. Game 3, Wednesday night. And Jim Montgomery, after one of the things he said, it's a series. That's what we got here. We got ourselves a series. Tied at 1, going to Toronto. 617-779-0985. Joe is in Natick. Hey, Joe.
Hey, Joe. How you doing? On the way back from the game right now. Tough loss. Just had a quick question about defensive replacements. Who does Montgomery go with if he benches Grizzly, who's been an absolute traffic cone out there all series? And then if Peak's out also, who does he go with? He's got Lowry, also Watherspoon, and Forbert as options.
I'd say
who does he go with?
I'd say Wotherspoon and Forbort, right? Because you need to play the position. Yeah, so I would say both those guys.
Yeah, no, I'd have to agree with you. I think Lowry, the inexperience, would definitely hurt him there. You need some physicality, and Watherspoon brings that as well.
Yeah, that's interesting to me. Will they go away from Grizz like after last game? They've done this before, Skaz. A team that they just have beaten 9 in a row, gave them life. Still think the Bees win this series, but you might have, you say don't poke the bear. Might have woke up the offense. That is the Toronto Maple Leafs. By the way, I wanted more shots on net tonight. So when you want to bring up the power play and how bad it was, yep, agree with you. Maroon shouldn't be out there. There should be some other guy that can score. Maroon's big body in front of the net is not what you want on the power play. I'm sorry. You need another body out there. Especially him coming off, 3 games? That's when you can question, not the goaltending. I would not question the goaltending at all tonight. I think it's Swayman game 3, and then you go back to Allmark game 4. Here's what happens, though. Swayman loses 3. Allmark loses 4. Now you're down 3-1 going back to Boston. What do you do? And what's the chronicle? Not the narrative. The chronicle. It's the goaltending. Tony is in Florida. Hey, Tony.
What's going on? Just want to talk about the goalies, and we need to stop overreacting. Swayman needs to get the net from the rest of the series. Allmark looked shaky all night, ton of rebounds. Could have been a lot worse of a loss. And it took too many men on the ice, penalties. Took Coyle getting a penalty, which negated a 5-on-3 for getting punched in the face. I mean, everything went Toronto's way tonight. Give Swayman the net. Thank you.
Yeah, I think for tonight, the Allmark move was not a bad one. I stand by that, damn it. I think the team would too. Now, it is the playoffs. This is different. This has never been done before. This is uncharted waters. Did Toronto think they were going to see Swayman tonight? Were they ready for Allmark? Was that an advantage for them? There was a couple of things, too, where whenever the Bees would take a shot, there was no follow-up, which I thought was a little bit different. I don't know if that was their defense doing something different, but it felt like whenever the Bees took a shot, nobody was there for the rebound.
It was something Bob mentioned maybe in the second period that he started to notice that all 5 Maple Leafs players were below the dots. Like they were hemmed in their defensive zone, almost like they saw something and made that change.
There you go. It was just mind's eye watching the game a little bit. There was no way for the Bruins to follow up. How about that?
No, they were
if they were trying, it got eliminated from whatever Toronto was doing tonight.
Yeah, no, they were like parking the bus.
Packing it in
They
almost?
were packing it in. Claude was in the building, maybe an homage to Claude. I don't know, but yeah, they were packing it in.
So, yeah, because Skaz is working the game intently here. And that's the one thing with Bob. You ever notice he's always a little bit ahead of the play? He makes kind of, here we go here. Like he's got that kind of instinct when he's calling the games. So that was one thing I noticed, whether it was on the power play or whether just taking shots in general. I think the Bees need to take more shots tonight or the next game. Like, that should be something they have to look at it and say, what did Toronto do differently if they were packing it in and dropping it in? Maybe that's why they went with Maroon up front. Maybe they thought if his big body was there, he could be there for a rebound. I don't think that's the acceptable answer, personally. Something was different. They weren't following up on their shots like they were in game one. Maybe we got to give Keefe a little credit there, making an adjustment. It's happened against Montgomery before. Teams that make an adjustment against him, he has trouble sometimes overcoming that. The one thing I'll give Montgomery credit for is when he does change up his lines, generally it works or gives him a spark. Looking at that power play late in the game, not a good look. No McAvoy, Maroon in there, woof. 617-779-0985. Joe in the car. Hey, Joe.
Hey, so real quick, I think Lorai and Witherspoon should go in next game. I know Lorai has no experience. Another thing, Allmark on that second goal, Shattenkirk should have tried and blocked it, and Allmark should have came up with the save there.
On which one? I'm sorry, on the rebound?
No, the second goal, I think it was on the power play.
The one after they gave up the it was
goal.
after the Grizzly penalty, right? And then disallowed goal, and then the next goal was to
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Like, Shattenkirk didn't really try and block it at all, and Allmark had a pretty good look at it, but that's where, like, you need to save or Shattenkirk needs to come up with a big block there. But.
Yeah, I really don't blame Allmark for that one. And, you mentioned Shattenkirk probably needed to make a play there. Agree with you, Joe. All right. Got some sensible Bees fans. Nothing too crazy tonight. Yeah, I'd like a follow-up on the power play late in the game.
You blew it!
Yeah, I need an answer to that one. I wrote a couple of notes here, and I see you guys on the phone lines. Mentioned the geeky too many men on the ice that he was trying to get off. He said Reeves was holding his stick. Montgomery credits the Bruins penalties for giving the Leafs the momentum to seize control of the game. Agree. And McAvoy and Marchand, I think, need to look in the mirror. I'll take it a little bit easy on McAvoy because he played a lot of ice time when they were down a defenseman and gassed late in the game, the turnover, etc. He's going to be better. Marchand, you need more from him. No doubt. 617-779-0985. Jake in Westport. Hey, Jake. Hey, Jake.
Hey, how you going?
How you doing?
Just leaving the game. Heard a couple of people in the crowd talking down on Hampus Lindholm. I think he had a decent game. A couple of giveaways that kind of hurt us, but that's kind of near or there. I don't hate Maroon on the power play. I really don't. Get a big body in front of the net. Get a couple shots. I think the shots were limited, but don't hate it. So, got to keep working on that.
All right, Jake. Appreciate you. Some people blaming the goalies tonight. I'm not. Thought Allmark played pretty well. All right, we'll take a quick break. I see you guys lined up. We're here until midnight tonight. We'll try to look ahead. We'll get you some sound if we hear anything from Jim Montgomery as well. We'll get you some injury statuses, what's going on with Nylander as well. A lot going on here as we're here until midnight. And you know what? Who knows? Maybe we'll tell you about what's going on in some of the NBA games. The Celtics play again on Wednesday night. There's a lot going on this week. And we have a full show tomorrow as well. Excited. It's a big week. And you know what else is this week as well? The NFL draft, finally. If you guys stop calling and you don't want to talk bees anymore, we'll transition. I got a couple more Bruins thoughts, though. We'll take a quick break here on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
More Joe Murray coming up on The Sports Hub.
All right, back here at 98.5, the Sports Hub. I'm Joe Murray. We're here until midnight tonight. Just wanted to just have a healthy conversation regarding the Bruins defensive core. Like, here we are now, 2 games into the playoffs. 2 games into the playoffs. And we're doing exactly what we said a year ago about this defense. It's Hampus Lindholm might be doing too much or isn't doing enough. It's Charlie McAvoy. You need more from the offense. Oh, he takes one step too far and gives up a big play. Brandon Carlo, who I will say played very well in game 1. I thought he was one of the stars of the game in game 1, personally. I think he was, actually. I wanted to look at Carlo for tonight, too. So, Carlo tonight, 21 minutes. Had 6 hits. Did have a giveaway. Had 3 shots on net. He had the most shots on net for all defensemen tonight. Overall, I will say right now, I think he's been their best defenseman, Brandon Carlo. Is that good enough in 2 games in a series? I'm going to say no. But here we are again. I just bringing you back year after year after year. What do we say? It's Matt Grzelcyk. He struggles in the playoffs. Whether it's his size, whether it's turnovers, whether it's his dumb penalty tonight that cost the team a goal. 2 goals, but 1 counted. We're still talking about Grzelcyk. We're still talking about Matt Grzelcyk and the defense in the playoffs. It's still a discussion. It's still a problem. And they went through this whole entire season with McAvoy and Lindholm, who got hurt for a period of time. And now, after Carlo, it's Grzelcyk. Peak, from what I hear, it's a hand. He might be out for a bit. Who knows? But if that's the case, that's the guy you traded for. He's out now. Shattenkirk is washed. And don't get me wrong, he's had some nice little moments this year and had 2 shots on net. But the guy can't play 17 minutes a night anymore. He can't do it. So then you got to bring up Forbort, who's missed how much time and was basically thought he was done for the year. The kid Wotherspoon's probably the guy I'd go with. And then you got Mason Lohrei, who's just not ready yet. Ready for this stage. I'm not here to kill Don Sweeney. I think he's been fantastic this year. But please, if you want to go on a serious playoff run, you can't have your 4th defenseman, Matt Grzelcyk, being the reason year in and year out why their defense is struggling. And yes, you gave Lindholm the big deal. You thought he was a 1A defenseman. At times he shows it. Other times he's not. He overcompensates way too much. And again, Carlo's been really good for 2 games. How consistent can he be in the series? So just after McAvoy, after Lindholm, there's still question marks with the defense. And it's been the same story for years. So no wonder why they're going with a goalie rotation, because they need to be strong in every game because their defense can't be. It should be frustrating to Bruins fans. Here you are again now. You don't know about Peak. You don't know about Grzelcyk going into game 3. You're wondering if Forbort can come back, which he's probably the not guy. So then you got to go to Wotherspoon, who's never played before, and then Lohrei is not ready to go. It's annoying. It's frustrating. And I'm not going to kill Sweeney for it, but at some point, you have to get better defensively. And now the series is tied 1-1. You can point to 2 turnovers tonight from their defense. It's just, when you look at it, you can go back year after year after year. We're talking about Matt Grzelcyk giving up bad plays, penalties, turnovers after losses. It's becoming annoying, and it's becoming the same old tune. Sorry to rant. You agree with me, Skaz? I feel like I'm dead on about this. Every time they lose, it's Matt Grzelcyk, Lindholm, blah. The same thing over and over. It's like, who's next? Who? Give me the depth chart. Now you got to go Wotherspoon. When's he ever played? Can Forborn even do it? And Lowry, is he even ready? That's what they're stuck with right now. It's annoying.
Yeah, I think it's frustrating because it does seem like it always comes down to them, you know, I don't want to call them soft, but maybe just being smaller on the back end at times or not as skilled as some other teams. So, yeah, I think you will see Wotherspoon in Game 3. That wouldn't surprise me. But, yeah, tonight, the Bruins didn't capitalize and the Leafs did. The Ullmark was great. The defense wasn't. Marchand, like people have said, he hasn't scored in a long time, it feels like, and you're getting to 2 goals from DeBrusque. Geeky's been great, and you're just, I don't know. Pasta scored tonight. That was, good to see, but they need more out of Marchand and McAvoy.
Those are the 2 guys I'm looking at. You know what? I didn't even look at DeBrusque tonight. -1, 2 shots, 1 assist. Okay. 18 minutes. The defense is bad everywhere, right? In front of the net, in the slot, everywhere. It's the same year after year. And I'm showing a piece of paper because if Grzelcyk or Peak or someone goes down, the whole thing falls apart. And you saw it tonight being down a defenseman. It's annoying. Every year we're doing. I've done post-game here. So I'm going on like 13 years at this place. I've done Bruins post-game a lot. And one of the biggest talking points after every loss is Matt Grzelcyk. Every loss, it's Matt Grzelcyk. I know you're a local boy. I know your dad's part of the Bull Gang crew. But man, whether it's his size, whether it's his toughness, whether it's his turnovers, whether it's whatever, I'm sick of it. I'm out. Still think the Bruins can win the series. 617-779-0985. It's been a lot of movement when it comes to the NFL draft and the odds. And, I got another one for you. I can't believe I forgot about this one. We have a source war. A source war. I'll tell you what that is coming up on the other side. I'm Joe Murray.
Sports Hub headlines.
Bruins lose 3-2 tonight. Austin Matthews, the difference with a goal and 2 assists. Linus Ullmark, 30 saves in the loss tonight. Series. story that I'm air frying right now. It's on 450. I put it on for like 6 minutes, so we'll pop that bad boy out. And at some point, what is up with the chair and the camera, and why us? I watch the morning show. They don't have the problem. Why do we have the problem? Scaz, I'm not blaming you. You were the goalie tonight who played very well. It was the defense in front of him.
Yeah, so the cameras are automated, and so when it goes to a caller calling in, we have a caller cam, and that goes to the wide shot, which normally in the morning would show Wallach, maybe Hardy as well, in that chair. But for us, there's no one sitting over there. So we've tried to put up a caller chair, but the glare is certainly hurting us tonight.
So how do we get a camera on you?
So we have, the cameras are automated. It's supposed to just turn to me when my mic goes on. I have checked the settings in the back, and the producer cam is checked on.
Okay.
So I'll have to inquire further about that one.
Yes. But I'm fine with bringing a mannequin in. And the Jeremy Conley, who worked the game at the Garden tonight, also said the traffic was terrible. Said we should sacrifice Lord Murray's cup, which is still in existence. I think you may have saw it when you were at my house.
Yeah, I saw it. It was in the basement.
It's still there. It's just it's like it's kind of like in Top or what was it in the new Star Wars movies? One of the aircrafts is still there, but not working. Just like in Top Gun, it's still there. It still works. It's just. I haven't brought that thing out. I think it's rest in peace time for that. We'll take a couple more calls on the Bruins. I just went off. Oh, how many years can I do post game and hear about Grizzly and Grizzly and Grizzly and Grizzly and Grizzly? Every year they're in this situation. It's annoying. It is truly annoying. I might annoy you talking about it. But you try doing it year after year. You got to get Grizzly out of the lineup. Got to get Grizzly with a terrible play. Yes, and he's still out there, and they still play him. It's annoying. Josh is in Boston. Hey, Josh.
How's it going? I got 2 points on the goalie situation. One being, I just don't think it's fair to award Swayman after a lights-out performance with sitting on the bench, and two, you got to ride the hot hand. You look at every other team in the NHL, and that's how they win.
Do you think that's why they lost tonight, because they changed their goaltender?
I don't think that's why they lost, but I don't think it's the right decision to put Ullmark in net after that performance from Swayman.
So what do you think Swayman could have done tonight that Ullmark didn't?
I don't know, but to me, that's a game that he could maybe steal based off how he played in Game 1.
Okay. All right. Get ready for how many hours of that tomorrow here on 98.5 The Sports? We might as well sleep in, Scats. Oh, we got a full show tomorrow night, don't we? Huh? Oh.
Full Forzy. We have 3 full shows this week.
That's right. We had 3 last week. The Triple Beef 3-way of shows. The Triple Show 3-way. Oh.
Joe, I will say, though, what the source war. You teased the source war.
I teased the source war.
Now I need to know.
So you've been a part of this, Skaz, where, at the end of the season, there was an article from Seth Wickersham, and I think it was Ian Thompson. I have an article coming out shortly that's air frying at 98.5thesportshub.com, so I might as well get it out now. Some of the big buzzwords this year: collaborative, vibe. Many have questioned the Kraft's involvement when asked this season about turning the keys over to Elliot Wolf. He said that Wolf himself said that he would be the final decision maker. And, of course, a collaborative approach, right? But according to a recent report, however, Kraft and president of Kraft Group, Jonathan Kraft, has been involved in the decision-making when it comes to the Patriots' top draft selection. That was from the end of the season, Scaz. So this is what I mean by source war. Source war. End of the season. Wickersham and Thompson say, we first heard about Kraft's involvement from a report amid the Patriots' struggles in the late season. New England's team president and the son of team owner Robert Kraft would chat with staff on the side along with Kraft Group Vice President in Business Affairs Robin Glazer, asking why the head coach made certain decisions. Some in the building took this to mean that Jonathan could be more involved in the Patriots' football affairs post-Belichick. Word leaked around the office that if Belichick were gone in 2024, football operations would be split between Glazer and Jonathan Kraft. This is from Wickersham at the end of the season. And this was refuted by many people. I'll give you one. Tommy Curran, NBC Sports Boston. I couldn't imagine this being any further from Jonathan Kraft's dream job. Running the organization in the football sense, he does not want to have football operation responsibilities, contrary to what has been in the Seth Wickersham piece. Okay? Does not want to be a part of it, yet who said he's going to be a part of it? I'm ready to go. We final 15 minutes of the night. So it was refuted, right? Curran's point was it's hard to imagine the Krafts diving into getting involved in personnel decisions after 2 decades of staying away from it. Robert Kraft went on to say this offseason, they're not involved in football matters because they want to hold people accountable. Recently, when he was asked, is Jonathan Kraft involved? No. And then Deanna Rossini today comes out with a report. By the way, this was during the Mayo. I also missed this one. During the Mayo press conference, Robert Kraft introduced Gerard Mayo. He was asked if Jonathan Kraft not involved in the day-to-day operations. That was his answer. So we got Curran and Robert Kraft saying not involved, Seth Wickersham saying involved, and today Deanna Rossini tells you they're open to trading the number 3 overall pick, and Jonathan Kraft is involved. And who did we have on last week who said Jonathan Kraft is involved? Taylor Twellman. So we got ourselves a source war. Who's right and who's wrong? And damn it, I'm going to tell you right now. Robert Kraft, everything he has said this offseason about the Krafts' involvement is completely refuted by Seth Wickersham this offseason. And today, Deanna Rossini flat out came out, sourced it. Jonathan Kraft is involved. Source war. Kraft telling us no. People who get the Kraft's words tell us no. People who aren't even from this market tell us yes. Who do you believe? I believe the people that aren't on the premises. I believe the people who have reported since day one. Jay Glazer, Seth Wickersham, Ian Thompson. They've all said Jonathan was going to be involved. Let's add Taylor Twellman to the mix. How do you have a report? How all season long you tell us Jonathan is not involved? The owner tells you. Gerard Mayo tells you. Elliot Wolf tells you. They all tell you he's not involved. Then today, a tweet, Jonathan Kraft's involved. Every single person that covers the team that's not in the market is flat out telling you he's involved. Everyone else is telling you he's not. Source war. I know who I believe. I know who I believe. The Krafts aren't involved. Deanna Rossini today. Jonathan Kraft, involved. Taylor Twellman, involved. Just tell us you're involved. Don't lie to us anymore. Don't lie. Robert Kraft says Jonathan Kraft is not involved in the day-to-day. What's the date on this one? January 17th. I got receipts, damn it. Should I put that part in the story? For real, Scaz, you been here? Come on. These guys are telling us, nope, not involved. No, why would he ever? They've never been involved. Why would they be involved now, Joe? Elliot Wolf's telling you, I'm going to make the pick. And then today it's Jonathan Kraft's involved. You lied. Lie, 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 lie. 11:48. Told you the brain starts.
That's what we do, Joe. We're late night guys. But obviously you don't want Jonathan Kraft running the Patriots. You want him hiring the right people to run the Patriots. But don't you think he almost has to be involved with what's going on with the number 3 pick?
Oh, they told us no.
But that's why I don't get why they're telling us that, because I don't know. You think the Bears owner doesn't have any say in them taking Caleb Williams, or the Commanders ownership group isn't involved in who they're going to take the number 2 pick? Of course they are. It is a $100 million investment to be the face of your franchise, your $1 billion investment. Of course you're involved. Why? So I just don't get why they're so afraid of the PR, negative, positive. They're so afraid of all of it. We know you're involved. You're the owner of a team that has the 3rd pick in the draft. Of course you're going to be involved. Why keep feeding us this?
So if Jonathan Kraft is heavily involved, according to Deanna Rossini, Robert Kraft, Jonathan's not involved. January 17th, ownership's input will be the same input we've had for the last decades. February 27th, ultimately, it comes down to Gerard and I. March 25th, the ownership don't want to be involved in football decisions. Today, while Elliot Wolf is running point, I'm told President Jonathan Kraft heavily involved in the decision-making. You're right. Why did they just come out and say, hey, we want to be involved in this. We want to make sure we get off to the right foot, and then we'll hand it off to the organization and Gerard.
Simple as that.
Just do it. Oh. This, you know why this frustrates me? Because the draft is Thursday, and all we've got from this organization is overpromise and under-delivered. And Skaz, it's happened during the offseason. It's happened in free agency. And I'm telling you right now, that stuff bleeds to the football field. The way they've handled this offseason, what makes you think they're going to be a good football team? Or even a competent one? Like that. I'm telling you, there are people, oh man. It's just, this is the way they handled their offseason. What is it going to look like on the field this year? Oh, boy. All right, and there's an article from Michael Penix that we'll touch on before we go home. I'm fired up about the Bruins defense again. We're being lied to. We got a source war! We got to go to break. I'm Joe Murray here on the Sports Hub.
You're listening to Joe Murray on 98.5.
forkids.org.
Everybody knows Joe.
Just keeps getting better.
Joe Murray on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
He freaks out and then says, "Where's the alcohol?" Or the Tylenol. I forget what he says. Anyways, yes, I'm fired up. And we got to go home now. And again, I want to thank our friends over at Dulce Vita Tequila, America's #1 selling organic tequila. Try their Blanco, Reposado, and Anejo, or their flavored tequilas in grapefruit, pineapple, jalapeno, and lime. Dulce Vita Spirits, Austin, Texas. Tequila pure and simple. Viva Dulce Vita responsibly. I want to cool off on the way home. I do want to read this quick story, but just to let you know, a full show tomorrow night. Hoping to have a Bruins guest, and it sounds like we're going to have Dan Lifshatz on tomorrow night to do some NFL betting. And I think there's been a lot of movement over the last couple of days, so we'll do that tomorrow night. Dan Lifshatz, one of the Bankroll boys, of the Bankroll bunch, here on 90. And someone just sent me the Clark Griswold holiday rant. This one, just an interesting Players Tribune. You know what it is. People write their thoughts, their feelings, and Michael Penix, let's get it straight to it. Chances are the question has come up in your building. You may have even asked yourself, truth is, I don't fault you for asking the question. Before I get into the pre-draft process, I've always let my tape speak for me. Also mentioned a big decision about what franchise will draft him. Mentioned where he's from, where he grew up. Says he has no problem talking about his medicals. But it was a letter to general managers and teams just saying he can reconcile everything that people think. Thought it was pretty good, and I wonder if the Patriots read it. We got a full show tomorrow night, everybody. Thank you.